AI keeps creating new buzzwords. This video is about one that's been everywhere lately: harness engineering. It sounds technical and hard to understand, but as always, the more complex something is, the simpler the explanation should be. So I'll use visuals and real demos to show what harness engineering actually means. It is not complicated. A harness is something that guides and controls. For example, harness racing refers to horse-cart racing. Think of the horse as AI. It runs faster than you. So how do you make it move fast but still reach the destination you want? You add a harness to guide it. If you've used AI tools in the last few years, you probably notice how fast they've improved. By 2026, you rarely see AI images, extra fingers, fewer hallucinations, and even helping build software. So we need to steer it. The term harness engineering has appeared on both OpenAI and Anthropic sites. AI got much stronger. Second, it can now work for much longer periods. Look at this chart. Since 2025, AI agents have been able to work independently for longer and longer. With OpenAI o3, it could run for about 2 full hours. Claude Opus 4.6 could even work by itself for 12 hours. Why does that matter? Models aren't people, they forget. Top models have token limits, then lose it. Long tasks hit that fast. Even a huge window fills quickly once the agent reads files, chats, and tool results. Million word limit. So how do you design a system that works for hours but still knows what change and what to do next? That is why we need a framework that lets it work long term while constraining it to produce quality output. That is harness engineering. You probably heard of prompt engineering a year or two ago. It is easy to understand. You improve the prompt, and the AI gives better answers. But starting last year, it moved beyond prompt engineering and became context engineering. I want real work, not edits. I want to use it in real work, like analyzing company data. But a language model does not naturally have your company data, so you need to give it that data. Context means background knowledge. Without company data, what can it analyze? If you want AI to handle customer support, the model's built-in knowledge is not enough. You need to provide your products, services, and FAQs so it can answer properly. Providing that relevant information is part of context engineering. Here, I will use visuals to explain it, so it is easier. To understand, this is a basic chatbot framework I will build on. Then I give it a brain, the language model. Here, I use Gemini. Now, when I ask a question, it can respond. But if I ask for something real time, like the current time, it won't know. It only predicts text. So even simple things like the current time must be provided in the context. Now I'll give it the time. I click AI agent, then go to the system message. In the system message, I add one simple fact, the current time, that becomes part of what the AI can see. I start a new chat and ask again. Now it gets it right, because time is in context. Sometimes the data need to come from the web, like the current Bitcoin price. I try Claude in Poe. When using Poe, be careful. Not every model has web access. For example, I ask it today's Bitcoin price, and you can see its response. It says it can't know. Why is that? Because it doesn't have a web browsing tool connected. Now I'll demonstrate this in n8n. Here, I connect Perplexity as the tool for searching the web. In the system prompt, I tell it can use Perplexity to get the latest information online. Now I ask the Bitcoin price again. The red spinning indicator means it's using the tool. When it turns green, it has found the data and sends it back to Gemini. Gemini uses that data, and answers with the Bitcoin price. If I remove the tool, then ask about Bitcoin again, the model is back to guessing without live data. You see the response is just like polls. It can't answer you. It asks you to search same model, so why does it feel dumber? It is not the model. It is polls context engineering. Weak because poll did not give it a web search tool. So here you can see even simple everyday facts we think are easy to find, like time or Bitcoin price, must be given on purpose. You have to put that into its background and context so we can use it. That is context engineering. Now the basic idea is clear, so let's widen the frame. How do we constrain, guide, check, and manage agents in real work? With that foundation, and as AI keeps developing, its abilities get stronger. Next, we need to learn harness engineering. First, to be clear, there is no fixed market definition yet. After reading many articles and watching many videos, I break it into 6 core points. First is context engineering, what we just discussed, how to give it relevant knowledge, like AGENTS.md, skills, and compressed chats. Second, you need to provide the right tools, like access to your company's Google Drive, and so on. Third is validation, make it check its work. Like telling a coworker, before you hand it over, check it yourself first. That is validation. Fourth is memory, because long-running AI forgets. How does it keep going? One way is a to-do list. When it forgets, the list shows where it left off. Fifth is a feedback loop, similar to the validation mechanism I just mentioned. That ties directly to validation. If it knows the result is wrong, what should it do next? It needs year, month, day, but AI writes day, month, year instead, so the system rejects it and says the date format is invalid. The accounting system will show an error and say the date format is invalid. That error becomes feedback. The AI can read it, fix the date format, and try again. The whole process is locked. If the same mistake repeats, we can write a skill to remind it not to repeat that mistake next time. The last piece is human in the loop. The AI needs to know what really matters. Important actions need approval. Ask too much, and it gets annoying. But if it never asks before important actions, you will not trust it either. Next is skills. I've mentioned them in earlier videos. Now, I'll demo it with Manus, because among the AI agents I've used, I think Manus has the best harness engineering. Let's go into settings. Here is skills. Open one, and it's basically text instructions. It lists receipt rules. It can also explain how to log into our company software and what receipt format to use. If I forward a receipt by email, it explains how to download and read it. That is the basic idea of a skill, reusable instructions for the AI. So you can think of skills as extra knowledge for the AI. Without a skill, there is no fixed workflow. It may try a new method each time. It wastes time and burns a lot of agent tokens. You can think of AGENT.md as an employee handbook. It is mainly used in vibe coding. What you see now is from a tool I am building. Inside that software project, one folder contains many different code files. One file is AGENTS.md, a plain text file. Open it and read inside. The content explains what this tool does and where things are located. It also points the agent to the relevant documents. It is similar to skills. The main difference is that skills are used only for specific tasks. For accounting, use an accounting skill. For design, use a design skill. Agents. MD is more like an employee handbook for day one. It tells you things like working hours, holidays, and basic company rules. Agents. MD gives the agent general rules. It lists the key things the agent must know. Most AI tools use this name now. Anthropic uses a different name, Claude.md. If that file exists, the AI reads it first. It is like a table of contents. The agent checks it first. Just like starting a new job, you read the handbook first, then you know where to find the real details. The current best practice is simple. Keep it short and point the AI to the right places. Do not write too much. Add only the links the agent needs. If it needs brand colors, don't paste every rule here. Give it a link, like this brand folder. For design work, it opens that link. Think of this file as a table of contents. After reading the contents, it knows which page to turn to or where to go for more detailed information. Also, as I mentioned earlier, models have context limits, like 100,000 tokens or so. Past that, they forget. That is why conversation compression exists. After a long meeting, too much was said, so someone writes a summary. The summary keeps the important points, drops the noise, and lets people continue faster. The second key point in harness engineering is giving the agent tools. This is easy to understand, so I'll use Manus as an example again. You can choose which tools are available in each chat, granting permission to use my Gmail, or letting it add items to my Google Calendar. And it also provides a sandbox. A sandbox means it is not controlling your own files. Deleting there would hurt or breaks your machine. That is painful. So Manus has its own computer. I can enlarge the panel and watch its screen. It uses that computer to search images and run code. For this task, I asked it to find photos and crop 1 to 916. The crop code runs in its sandbox computer, not mine. Giving it tools and a sandbox computer to work in, that's the second part, software and permissions. Third, you need a validation system because language models are creative. Their output changes each time, but some tasks need consistency. So we need a non-AI method to verify the output. That may sound abstract, so let's go back to N8N to make it clearer. I open this agent tool. It has required specific output format, so answers must follow a fixed structure. That means the output must follow a specific format, and we can add code to check it. For example, this is JSON format. Think of it as structured data that software can read. Each data item needs a comma, but the last one must not have one. A year or two ago, weaker models, they might get the format slightly wrong, like adding an extra comma here. Then the format breaks, so we add a feature that uses code to check whether the output format is correct. Because AI sends data to software like Excel or accounting tools, wrong format means failure. So we can use code validation to make sure the format is correct before import with no comma mistakes. That saves money. Mistakes cost money. So we validate AI output with normal code, not more AI. The fourth thing is memory. If you use these AI tools, you know this well. From time to time, it saves things it thinks are important into memory. That memory file is basically just text. In Manus, open settings, then personalization, then knowledge. This is where memories are stored. It automatically records key details like my wife's name is Jenny. I can manage that too. I can pause or delete memories. So when a new chat seems to remember you, this is why. Before answering, it quietly checks the notes it saved. That is AI memory. It is not human memory. For a long, continuous task, like 10 hours of work, it needs its own to-do list. Here is another demo. This morning I asked for a social post. Facebook, Facebook, Facebook. Facebook, Facebook, Facebook. Facebook, 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 Facebook again. It logs each step. Facebook, 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 because if it really goes beyond the context window, beyond short-term memory, it can return to the to-do list, see what is done, and continue from the next step. So the final step is it gives me a preview to approve. After it gathers the research, it helps me write the post and design the post. Then I tell it, post now. And after taking my instruction, it publishes to my social accounts. At the end, the to-do list is complete, so I can see the whole job finished. With this mechanism, it can handle longer tasks by itself. I've run businesses for over 10 years, and a mentor once told me this. How do you judge whether your company is successful? If you leave for 2 weeks and nobody has to WhatsApp you for help, the system works. And the company runs normally, you're managing pretty well. If you leave for 3 months and it still runs without you, you're a master. If you leave for a year and it still runs normally, you've basically made it. So in a way, managing a company is also harness engineering. For a company to run itself, you need rules and documentation, so the team can work alone. The fifth part is observation and feedback. Have you ever asked AI to do something, but if you don't know what it did wrong, how can you improve it? You cannot improve what you do not measure. If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. Let me use Manus again as an example. Whether each task succeeds or fails, it keeps a complete record. It's like running a company with 10 employees and recording their computers the whole time. You can replay the screen anytime and see exactly how each person worked. That's observability. Manus logs each task. I can scrub back through the whole process, see what happened, and check each step instead of guessing. I can see what images it searched for, which ones it chose, and how it ran code to crop them. I can see how it uploaded the image and where any step went wrong, so I improve it. In N8N, I asked Bitcoin price, so I added perplexity search. Here, it couldn't answer the question, even though I clearly gave it a tool. From the log, I could see that during the process, it never used the tool at all. So the next step is improving it. If it has the tool but doesn't use it, the likely reason is that my context or instructions were not clear enough. So I go back to the system message and spell out the instruction more clearly. I tell it to use perplexity for real-time information, then ask again. Now it can answer the Bitcoin price, and in the log I can see it used perplexity. I can also see the tool's response time, because I don't only need to know, I want to know whether it used that tool and how much time it spent using it. Because if it runs slowly, I want to improve that too. So from these logs, I can observe its performance and find ways to improve it. Last is human in the loop. For certain cases, it needs my approval before taking action. I tell it first, show drafts, then publish. I also ask for 2 versions, since I post to Xiaohongshu. For Xiaohongshu, the copy and cover must use simplified Chinese, and it still needs my approval before publishing. Those rules live inside the skills. These rules are actually written inside the skills. By now, I think you have a clearer idea of harness engineering. It may sound like a lot to set up, but you really do not need to worry too much. Choose the right tool, and you do not handle all this yourself. For example, Manus already includes many of these pieces behind the scenes, so the setup is much lighter. Of course, some things still need your own setup because every company has a different workflow. You need to set up your own skills and connect the tools your company uses most. Besides Manus, what other tools do I think have a good architecture? Claude, Cowork, Perplexity, and Computer are also worth trying. I know OpenAI's coding tool Codex is also moving in this direction. It is gradually becoming an AI agent, meaning Codex will not just be for coding. It will also be for daily work. There are also rumors that Gemini will launch agent features. From what I saw on screen, it also has skills. And I believe with MCP, it connects to many tools. AI agents are clearly a major trend, and they will keep improving. Next, I want to mention our 2 workshops. We have 2 workshops, and these skills will matter for the next decade. The first is learning how to control and use AI agents. Our vibe coding workshop last time was 3 hours. This time is 6 hours with deeper content and more practice time. If you join the April 3-hour vibe coding class, you can join this 6-hour workshop at half price. In this workshop, we will learn tools that professional developers actually use, including GitHub, Supabase, Cloudflare, and more. Also, the next Manus AI is June 13. In that class, we will practice using Manus, but I always stress that the goal is to understand the logic behind using the tool. Once you understand that logic, you can apply it to any AI agent tool. Early bird pricing is available now. And if you have joined any of our workshops over 3 hours before, you get another $30 off. For more details about the course content, click the link below this video. Also, if you want to go deeper into what context engineering means, you can watch my earlier video here. See you in the next one.